Hi, my name is Charlie Abbo, and this is my progress review of my current inking of JON PAY, Prizefighters and Knickerbockers. This is one of my dreaded pages, page 10, where JON PAY and his assistant Gus McDougall enter a quite crowded bar. The pencils of this particular page has been drawn traditionally and then scanned in, and I am now inking on an iPad with an Apple Pencil. And one of the joys that I've discovered with working digitally is the fact that you don't really have to worry about having to go back and white out lines that you don't like. You can draw through things, especially with technical things. This makes getting things in perspective easier, or the lines, continuous lines, straighter and better. And then you just go back in and erase the lines that you don't need. And you also have the luxury of working on several layers and making this deleting of lines even easier. When I did draw this page, I was working at a bar at the time as a bartender, so that explains why I made such an effort of making sure that all the labels were pointed out on all the bottles. I'm not sure I enjoy that now that I'm going to have to go back and ink every single bottle and label, but at least I didn't put the names on each bottle like, I would be prone to do. When I work on a panel this detailed, I do try to jump around a little bit and skip between just doing all the ruling and all the technical stuff, and then work on the characters. And as you can see here, I do try to jump from the background to the foreground. So all the stuff, the further I get into the foreground, I have to make sure that pops more than the stuff in the background. What's also worth noting is some of these characters that I have here in the background, I had actually created, again, while working in the bar, just drawing faces while waiting for customers to show up, and then, decided to drop them in and use them in the background, so the people in the background aren't just random characters. And despite the fact that this guy is wearing Wally's shirt, no, you have not found Wally. He will show up in another panel that's more crowded than this. Now I started to ink this guy's jacket over the chair, when all of a sudden I realized it's also a hat on top of the jacket. It's funny how I sometimes forget what I actually have drawn. I've never been happy with how I draw shadows, but as you can see, when I do draw shadows in Sketchbook, I have the joy of working on layers and erasing the things that I don't want in there. So you can just go scribbly and it looks better than it used to, and I just erase the parts that I don't need. So as you can see here in a little bit, I've come close to finish most of the stuff in the background, and it's time to do what I was saying, to finish off with the characters in the extreme foreground and make sure that they have a nice thick outline and pop more against all the detail work in the back. Now, that's not to say that there won't be any detail work on these characters in the foreground. As you can see right here in a little bit, the characters are bigger, so it leaves more room for the smaller rendering and detail work on the actual characters. I have a tendency to like doing this, as you can see, with just like the outlines of the hat there and all the shadows and all this. Always working to improve that. Somebody pointed out a few years ago that none of my characters had any shadows. They were lit like they were in a theater on a stage. Perfect lighting, no heavy shadows at all. Here also, I was asked recently why I took the time to fill everything in the big solid black areas. Two reasons for this. I find it a little bit therapeutic, just thinking old school and how it used to have to be done. Also, I hadn't played around enough with the paint bucket tool in Sketchbook and play with the settings, so you got to fill the areas perfectly. So anyway, here's the finished inked version of panel 1, page 10 of JON PAY, Prizefighters and Knickerbockers. Please check out my first 3 books available on Comixology and let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. Bye.